All right, man. I think here we go. You ain't nothing but a ham sandwich, riding all the time. You ain't nothing but a ham sandwich, riding all the time. Well, you ain't never caught the mustard, and you ain't no male of mine.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Hit it!
Broadcasting live from high top Stonehead Peak in the Blue Mountain Range, overlooking gorgeous downtown Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, it's the Jeff and Dan Show.
Where are the stars of this piece of shit?
It's Wednesday. It's 7 o'clock. It's time for the Jeff and Dan Show.
All right.
What an awesome show we had planned tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We had guests all the way from York Springs, Pennsylvania, so we were going to chit-chat with them a bit, play some games with them, and enjoy some adult beverages. And we would do our usual talk about everything and nothing. That's all changed.
It has.
So grab a refreshing Monster beverage product, pull out your favorite intoxicant, and get ready for the brightest rising show in all of podcasting. I'm Dan, the second half of the Jeff and Dan Show, and it is my pleasure to welcome yous here tonight. And across from me is the first half of the Jeff and Dan Show. Ladies and germs, please put your hands together and give a nice, warm welcome for our good friend, Jeff. Jeff, how are you tonight, sir?
I am doing well, sir. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. So
Yes. I think they're ready for the game show.
yeah, we had some really good things planned for you guys tonight, but unfortunately the other guys didn't.
Weren't able to make it.
Weren't able to make it.
Yeah, it was a family affair thing.
Yeah, we are very sorry about that. So now we are riding barebacks, but so to speak. And
my balls are chafing. Yeah.
So the only thing we have for you are movie quotes.
Who the fuck are you?
Well, I'm Dan.
That's right.
What the fuck is the internet?
Yeah, that one. Did you play it at the same time, too? What the fuck is the internet?
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. It came in like echo. That's pretty cool. Yes, so now we're at a crossroads to try and figure out what the hell we used to do this show completely off the cuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like, you know,
It really shouldn't be hard, but
no,
now,
yeah, exactly.
now that we've relied totally on a thing called show prep
Yeah.
and a script,
Yeah.
a semi-script.
A semi-script, yeah.
Now here we are with thumbs up our ass, or thumbs up our ass. Either way, it relieves indigestion.
But we do have fun stuff for you, like
VegiClean, huh? What's the matter, honey? Little extra cheese on the taco? Price check on VegiClean, aisle 5. I repeat, price check on VegiClean, aisle 5. That's VegiClean. We got a customer down here with a full-on fallopian fungus. She's baking a loaf of bread, and I think it's sourdough. Put a rush on that.
Jim effing Carrey.
yeah, that guy, man, from freaking Me, Myself, and Irene. That was like one of the best movies. I think it's probably one of my most favorite comedy movies.
It's one of my most favorites from him.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to him?
Well, he sort of toned back a little bit. He wanted to, be taken a little bit more seriously, and he still shows up every once in a while. You see him. I saw him not that long ago. I think he was on like one of the late night talk shows or something.
You know, that's the problem with us comedians. I don't know why, but eventually comedians get to a point in their lives, in their career, where they stop trying to be funny and they start preaching.
Right.
Whatever issue. Please don't preach to me. Make me laugh.
Exactly.
I am so proud of Seth MacFarlane for not doing that.
Right. Yeah.
Although if you read in between the lines of his jokes, they're a little bit preachy, but that's okay. His shit's funny.
Yeah, I think he just likes to make fun of just about everything.
I think he does like to
it can
make
come
fun of
off as
everything.
preachy, but he's.
But I'm so glad he has not gone down that road. But just about
Right.
every other comedian has gone down that road.
Yeah, except for the really, really raunchy one. And even then, some of those have become, one of my favorite comedians, female-wise. I don't really like a lot of female comedians. Whitney Cummings comes to mind. She's a very attractive woman. Yes, I know she has a really fucked up last name, but but she's extremely funny for me, because she's just the tell-it-all kind of like it is kind of person, but she's not one of those, hey, I'm going to be your best buddy kind of things. You know what I mean? She's just like a no-holds-barred person, kind of like our personalities. And another one I really, really like is Wanda Sykes. because she comes from my area. She hails from, D.C. and Virginia. And she knows what it's like. And she really tells it like it is as well. But she does it in that Blackitude style, which is kind of like Eddie Murphy used to do, too. And just make people laugh. Is
Wanda Sykes the one that was in that movie Over the Hedge?
I don't know. Yes, yeah. She was one of the. She was the wife of the two. I think they were like hedgehogs or something. Or
I thought she was not the squirrel.
No, it wouldn't have been the squirrel. I don't know. I don't even remember which one she played, but yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure she was in that. But yeah, so and it really sucks too because I came up with a mail time jingle. I don't know if you have any reader mail to do. I guess you don't because we were going to do interviews. But
yeah, I left it all at home.
Yeah, here.
Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail. Mail's here, mail's in. Don't miss it. It's the mail.
There you go, man. Little right off of a news cruise.
Well, in listener mail today, we have Dear Jeff and Dan. Sorry, we can't make it tonight.
A little something family-wise came up, and we're not going to be able to make it. But that's cool. We will have them on soon enough. And, it's Luis and Lorenzo. And I don't know that they're actually both going to be able to be on, but I kept pushing for Luis to come on, even if he had to come to the show by himself.
They have a shop to mind.
Yes, actually they both do. They both run shops, pizza shops.
Same
joints.
Shops or two different shops?
Two different ones.
Oh.
Yeah, the one family owns one and the other family owns the other one, but they're all related.
Okay. So
yeah.
It's brothers or cousins?
Cousins.
Cousins.
The two guys that were coming in were cousins. So, but yeah, that's not going to be able to happen, so that's okay. I mean, we're not dying over here or anything, but I mean, we could be.
And these dudes a couple of faggots then, huh?
That's right. You played that at the wrong fucking time.
Yeah. I'm so sorry if you guys are listening.
Yeah,
that was just a couple of faggots. That's what it's labeled as. I wanted to hear it.
And there it is. That's what it was.
In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups. The police, who fabricate crime, and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders for their bullshit. These are their stories.
Pass toilet paper.
Yes, my master.
I played that right as you said that. That was really funny.
What is thy bidding, my master?
Yes.
Escape.
There is no escape.
There is no escape.
You're going to have to smell that fart.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor.
Take it away.
Your feelings for them are strong, especially for
These nuts.
Yeah, we get to play some of these tonight.
leave us.
Yes.
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
All right, very cool. So yeah, we're gonna be doing stuff off the cuff. So what do you got, man? Let's just do some shit.
42 questions. You want to hear them?
Yeah, sure.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's all good for the next guest.
Oh yeah, let's not do that. Yeah, because then we'll ruin them. I don't want to do that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
How about National Day of?
Yes, we can do that. As a matter of fact, I started coming up with music for that. And,
Did you?
I started. I didn't get a chance to get it finished, but I was going to. I was working on it, and then that's when I heard those guys weren't going to be able to make it. So I was like, shit.
Do you have a sample?
No.
Do you have a sample?
I don't have this. Well, maybe I do. Hang on. Well, I don't want to use it because if I do, then it might interrupt our recording.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
then
So,
don't. No.
Yeah, I don't want to f that up.
Today is National Apple Turnover Day.
Apple turnover.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'm not very much into apple turnovers. I'll eat it, but it's not in the top 10.
Yeah.
Today is also National Graham Crackers Day.
Oh, I had some of that recently, yesterday and today.
I like graham cracker crust.
Yeah.
For pies,
Yeah.
chocolate pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that too. If it's not crushed Oreos, then yeah, definitely graham cracker crust.
Today is also National Bikini Day.
Bikinis. Ooh,
Yeah.
yes. I've been seeing a lot of bikinis lately.
I don't have an upper and a lower that matches, so I didn't wear any.
Oh, yeah. I hate when that happens. Or when you're running and your boobs fall out of it. Yeah, that sucks.
Tomorrow
Yes?
is National Fried Chicken Day.
Oh, no shit. Might have to
Yeah.
go to KFC for dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And July 7th is National Father-Daughter Take a Walk Day.
Yeah.
I added my own. July 7th is National Father-Daughter Take a Walk Off a Short Pier Day.
I like taking long walks off short piers.
It's
Yeah.
also National Strawberry Sundae Day,
Okay.
July 7th, and National Macaroni Day. I know most of these revolve around food.
Yeah,
And
kind of.
when I go looking for them, well, I have one calendar that tells me everything. And it lists like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And 2/3 are always food.
Yeah.
And National Bikini Day is like food wrapper.
Is food wrapper?
Yeah, you know.
I got you.
Never mind. Sorry, that was a terrible joke.
It was a dad joke. What are you going to do?
Yeah, it was Macaroni Day. July 8th is National Chocolate with Almonds Day.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Chocolate covered almonds. That's good stuff.
July 9th is National Sugar Cookie Day.
Yeah.
July 10th is National...
That's Sunday. So then, yeah, July 10th would be Monday.
July 10th is Monday?
Yeah. I think
Already?
so. Yeah. Can you believe that shit?
National Cashew Day.
National Cashew. Ooh. Right after almond, chocolate covered almond day.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. You see how they run together?
Exactly. Aren't cashews like not considered a nut? I think one of the nuts in the mixed nuts is not considered a nut.
Peanuts is not actually a nut. It's
Is
a
that what it is?
legume.
Legume, yeah.
Yeah. Which, don't ask me what a legume is.
It's anything like peas, beans. I call them legumes, but
You might be right.
yeah, it doesn't matter. But that's what it means. Yeah, they're like legume. They have just like green beans are, peas are, anything that grows inside of a shell, basically.
Wikipedia says a legume is a plant or its fruit or seed in the family Legumiaceae. Legumes are grown agriculturally, of course. Isn't everything grown agriculturally? Primarily for their grain sac called pulse. Oh,
Okay.
wait, no. Wait a minute. Primarily for their grain seed called pulse. I had sac on the mind.
Oh, yes, you
For
did.
livestock forage and silage, and as soil-enhancing green manure.
Oh,
Well-known legumes include alfalfa, clover, peas, beans, lentils, lupin bean, mesquite, carob, soybeans, peanuts, and tamarind. This did not even answer the question.
yeah, that's yeah.
Thanks, Wikipedia. So,
Bunch of bullshit, man.
yeah. July 10th is also National Pina Colada Day.
Pina Colada Day.
Yeah. Bring me to
My
Pina
wife,
Colada.
that's one of her favorites. That is like her favorite beverage, alcohol-wise.
Pina Colada?
She loves margaritas, but she loves pina coladas even more. Yeah, she's a big fan.
I can take them or leave them.
Yeah.
I don't, I like coconut. I like pineapple.
Yeah.
I do not like the two mixed together all that well.
Yeah, I like pineapple. I don't really like coconut. So
You're not big into coconut?
No, not at all. Especially the flakes. It's just like, it feels like somebody just put a wad of hair in your mouth and said, "Here, eat this wad of hair." Okay, thanks. It used to get stuck in my teeth. I don't have that problem much anymore, but it really sucked. It did. So, but yeah. And then the actual overall flavor is not that great. And they're coming to find out, believe it or not, dude. I don't know if you saw this health trend there for a while, but they were actually talking about the coconut being like a special health ingredient. Like people could take, eat the coconut, drink the coconut water, and it's all special shit. And no, it's not good for you. Coconut oil, they were like trying to tout its abilities. It's just like the worst shit. It's like 10 times worse than peanut oil, apparently.
Well, I'm sure it has its place.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you're on an island and the only thing you've got going for you are coconuts,
Yeah.
how you going to be eating some coconut?
Yeah, exactly.
And that oil is not going to be doing too bad for you anyways.
Yeah.
But I have noticed with food things, it's all ebb and flow. Like, do you remember many years ago, tomatoes caused cancer?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
then they flipped that around and said it's actually something that gets rid of cancer now.
And now they say it's the best possible food you could eat.
Right, yeah.
And then it went
lycopene.
to oh my God, don't eat eggs. You will die of cholesterol. If you eat 3 eggs, you will die of cholesterol by noon.
Oh, yeah.
And now, eat more protein, have an egg.
Exactly. It's just ridiculous. I mean, just to be able to look at all of the foods over the years and say, like you said, exactly like eggs. We talked about that before, though. But the cholesterol thing is, it's horrible. And then they're like, but eggs are really healthy because the egg board came on and said, oh man, people should be eating more eggs because eggs are actually really healthy for you. And technically they are. It's a trade-off, though, and that's kind of the way it is with everything.
Well, it is a trade-off, yeah. Yeah.
But that's the thing. You got to realize that it's always going to be some kind of trade-off there, and if it is, then you got to also realize that one of those things is going to be really bad. So you got to weigh the differences. For instance, in eggs, it's protein. That's what you get the better of is the protein from the eggs. Mm-hmm. And for people that don't have a lot of protein in their system, which is a pretty vital thing, eating eggs is actually a good thing. Usually, like vegans and stuff like that won't eat eggs because they it had a face. No, it didn't. It was a menstruation. You're eating a menstrual cycle, okay, fucker? And that's basically what it comes down to. And people are, oh man, it's something from it. They need that protein. That's the reason why. I hate to say it, sorry, vegan folks and vegetarians and stuff. That's why they're more frail. They're more frail for that reason because the proteins that we require are animal proteins, if not human proteins, which we can't intake human protein. I mean, we can, but it has to be completely devoid of any type of latching. In other words, like can't be a blood type thing. You can't have any sort of blood on the protein. So in other words, that means you can't eat a human body and get, gobs and gobs of protein. But you could swallow cum. That is high in protein, by the way. Yes. For all the ladies out there, I'm sorry. That was probably a horrible thing, but your husband would love you a lot more. Yeah. So, but no, the big thing here is that there's always going to be that trade-off, and especially with proteins over cholesterol.
Yes.
Just how much protein are you going to get, and that's the short term because you're only going to use it, within a day. And how much will the cholesterol rise over a period of time?
How long will that cholesterol stay in you?
Right. And that's the other thing too, and this is the one thing that you don't hear a bunch of people saying. You don't hear them saying things like, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to eat these, eggs to see, how much protein I'm actually going to get." And what they're not checking, the people that are doing the protein checks, they're not checking what else other people's eating with it. 9 times out of 10, they probably ate like bacon or sausage or some other shit that is really going to drive their cholesterol through the roof. So,
you've heard of the Atkins diet, haven't you?
Yes.
That is basically the all protein, not a single carb in you.
Yeah, it's a lowered. Is it? I can't
the
remember.
first 3 to 7 days. No carbs.
Okay.
No caffeine.
Right.
And you are on your all protein, all the bacon and eggs you want.
Right.
But you can't have any carbs, which tends to make people miserable.
Right.
Now add in the caffeine, and that makes people even more miserable.
Yeah. It's like mounting shit on top of other shit you don't want to do.
And I went to a weight loss place one time a couple of years ago. And it's relatively new technology. Well, newly learned information. Shouldn't say technology because it's not technology.
Right.
And they had said what their plan is. People like me who are addicted to carbs, 3-4 days off the carbs.
Okay.
Why? Why in the Atkins diet, in this new diet, do you have to go off the carbs totally? Why can't I have all the bacon and eggs I want and one piece of bread with it? Why?
I guess because what they're trying to do is slam your system. Here's the thing. Carbs is usually linked with sugar. Usually. Yes. I mean, there's dietary fiber too, but they don't usually calculate that. They calculate how much sugar is in stuff. Like bread's a really notoriously bad one because the starch in bread, when consumed with your saliva, and stomach acids, ends up becoming sugar. If you leave a piece of bread, like just the white part of the bread, don't even eat the crust, just take a big old chunk of the white bread, put it in your mouth and leave it there. you'll eventually taste it turning into sugar, which is wild. But let's say you took all the carbs out of your diet, every bit, and you have basically nothing, which having a diabetic family is really, really tough.
No doubt.
To find other stuff. You know what I mean?
How do you plan meals?
Exactly. That's the one thing about diabetes that a lot of people don't understand is that diabetics can eat whatever they want.
Yes, they can. Absolutely.
Right. But it's better if they don't eat the stuff that has carbohydrates because then they can more regulate their system.
Well, they have to measure everything.
Right. Everything in moderation, but at the same time, make sure you know what, if any, it has carbs in it and how much. Because you have to take insulin, especially if you're type 1.
Speaking of carbs.
Yeah, speaking of carbs that I'm pouring into this cup right here. Molson Golden. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Makes me thirsty.
I know, right? I gotta take a piss. But that's the thing. A lot of people are just like, they're under the impression that if you're diabetic, type 1 or type 2, they're like, oh, you can't eat that. You can't eat this cookie. You can't eat that piece of cake. You can't have that cupcake. Well, fuck you, I can too. But no, they definitely, they can eat it, but they just need to know like how much it is. And if it's in moderation, then they normally wouldn't have to take insulin for it, maybe. But a lot of the times it's usually like, well, you want those two things of pudding and that cupcake or that donut, then yeah, you're going to have to calculate how much is in there and then take the right amount of insulin for it.
It's basically an accounting. It's basically an accounting exercise with the whole...
Basically, yeah.
With the whole carbs, protein.
Yes, and it's very difficult to get kids to stick to that, do that specific
no doubt.
thing.
It's hard enough for adults. Dude, let me ask you this about diabetics, because you do have a little history with working with the diabetics.
Oh,
you, of course, not diabetic yourself.
Not yet. Heading there.
Why do I see adult diabetics who just don't take care of themselves? Like, I know this one guy, he was diabetic, and he was pretty close to losing his foot. Mm-hmm. In fact, they took him in and took a chunk out of it.
Yeah.
Gone forever.
Yeah.
Still.
He doesn't monitor his shit.
Why? Why?
Because with type 2 diabetes, it's not a life and death situation. Okay. In other words, what I mean by that is...
Not an immediate future.
Correct. Yeah. It's an eventual process, and they know, depending on how old they are, it could be a situation where they're going to end up... But, dude, I know people exactly like you're talking about. As a matter of fact, I have a brother-in-law who really doesn't monitor his diabetes, and he already has lost a leg.
Oh.
Yeah, and he still doesn't care. He doesn't care to do it because when you have type 2 diabetes, you're not necessarily guaranteed to spike your blood sugars when you eat. See, the difference between the two types is one's insulin resistant and one's insulin deficient. In other words, the insulin resistant is the one where your body's starting to make insulin but doesn't make enough of it. But the insulin deficient is the one where you don't have any insulin coming out of your pancreas. And if that's the case, then you have to supplement that with insulin that you inject to yourself. But type 2 diabetics, the insulin dependent, don't have to worry about, insulin resistant, don't have to worry about things like checking, calculating their blood sugar all the time. Great example, my wife rarely has to check her blood sugar. She's type 1 diabetic, or type 1.5, I guess. But she rarely has to check her blood sugar because she knows that when she eats, it's going to go up a little bit, but it's not going to do a lot. The thing is, though, is that she does have to take, like, Atlantis, which is an injection they take at night. There's these two things, really complicated. Yeah, I could train a whole class on this thing. There's these two things, bolus and basal. And there's the two forms of insulin that you can get and times that you have to take it. I always get these backwards, but I think it's this way. The bolus is the one that lasts all day. Okay, so you take the bolus. The bolus will allow your insulin to gradually work throughout the day. It sort of keeps your peaks from going too high or too low. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Whereas the basal is the one you have to do immediately. You have to do it all the time. If you eat something right now, you have to take a basal for that, which is just basically you injecting however much your doctor and you have described that you need for every amount of grams of carbohydrates. So in other words, if you have something that's, let's say you eat a meal and it has 100 carbohydrates in it, and you talk to your doctor and your doctor says, I want you to take 1 unit, which they break it down into units. I think it's cc's, but I'm not sure. But you take 1 unit for every 10 grams of carbs you eat. Okay? So, and this is why kids like my son, who's, rather young, 11, doesn't want to have to figure this shit out. You know what I mean? It's very difficult.
Sexy, you have a message.
Ooh, you have a message.
Oh, I guess that is for me.
Yeah, because I ain't sexy. But they have this, like my son, he does, gets the injections, and he doesn't want to have to sit down and mathematically figure it out. But here's what happens. If your doctor says you have to take 1 for every 10 grams of carbs, and your meal is going to be 100, that just means you have to take 10 units of insulin. Okay? But that's not the only insulin you take. Okay? You have to take that amount of insulin, so it's 10 units there, and you calculate that, and you have that in your head. 10 units of insulin, that's what I need to take. But just after that, you need to check your blood sugar, and your blood sugar always has to be checked before you start eating, before you even touch the food, because you can get just a little bit of sugar on your hand, and I've seen it change 30 points. Jeez. By having just a speck of sugar on your hand. It makes it go up, and then it's an inaccurate reading, and then you're screwed, because then you give yourself too much insulin, and then you get in trouble. But okay, so you have that 10 you're going to have for your meal, and you check your blood sugar, and the doctor always wants it around 150, and anything over 150 you have to add 1 unit. So it's for every 50, I think it's what my son's on right now. For every 50 over 150 you add a unit. So in other words, okay, we have 10 for the dinner, we know about that, and let's say his blood sugar is 300, and we want it to be around 150, maybe a bit lower. You calculate from 150 to 300, so that's 150. And for every 50, you're doing another unit. So now you have the 10 for dinner, and you have the 3 that you're going to take for your blood sugar. And that's what you inject. You inject 13 units of
Which is
insulin.
a lot. 100 carb dinner is a lot, isn't it?
No, that's about average.
Is that right?
Yeah, 75 to 100, somewhere in there. Especially when the child's growing up. When they're starting to get older, like my son now, he eats more than I do, believe it or not. I mean, a lot of food. He has to take it. Now, here's the thing, and this is this is what people don't understand, but they've heard people tell them before, and this is why they get screwed up when it comes to this. You probably heard maybe some point, maybe you listen well enough at a party or something, and somebody says, "Oh, my kid's diabetic." They'll be like, "Oh, well, he can't eat this cake then because it's got sugar in it." Oh, no, he can eat the cake. Oh, okay. The reason why they think that is for the wrong reasons, but they are right. He can't eat the cake. He can technically, but what happens is this. Your insurance company only gives you a certain amount of insulin every time you go and get your insulin refilled. If you are saturating in between meals or you're eating things at snack time that are way high, you're taking more insulin, which then takes away from the insulin you're using at other meals. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So now you're running out of insulin quicker, and your insurance company doesn't want to pay for that.
And insulin is not cheap.
No, $550 per vial. Yeah, it's expensive. And with 40 million diabetics plus in the United States, not including type 2, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong. It would be 40 million all. And that's rising. Dude, every day, 10 new diabetics are in this state are diagnosed.
How many diabetics a day do you think are what I'm trying to get at is how many vials of insulin are we selling per day?
Oh, a lot. I would have to say probably, you mean nationally?
Yeah.
I would have to guesstimate probably about 500, maybe 600 vials a day.
600 vials a day.
Yeah.
Now you multiply that by
550.
550?
Mm-hmm. That's for standard Novolog, not generic.
That's $330,000 a day.
Sure. And that fluctuates. I guarantee there's some days where it's 5,000 vials. And that also doesn't include what hospitals end up using. That doesn't include what they give to you right there on the spot, even the free stuff that they give you, anything. But just at pharmacies.
That's $120 million a year.
Easily.
Just on that figure you gave me. That's lowball.
Easily, yeah, lowball. I'd say low average. Average.
Now, out of that, let's break it down as best as we can. Who gets what? How much goes to the pharmacist? 5-10%?
Yeah, it's probably a really low markup. I would have to think it, but definitely be a pretty low markup.
And who gets the rest?
The company that makes it. There's a company, and believe it or not, there's only 2 companies that make insulin.
Merck?
I think Merck is the one.
Okay.
But the one we use is Novo Nordisk, which is the company that's in Sweden, I think.
Okay, now how do they make it?
They actually get it from pigs. Yeah. Yep.
Do they have to kill the pig to get it?
No, they just inject the pig at a certain spot. They probably knock it out or do something to it, but the amount that they're able to get from pigs is quite high. They could probably get like a quart from each pig. It's pretty insane.
How many vials is that?
That's a lot. That's a lot.
100.
Probably, yeah. Somewhere close to that. 50 to 100, I'd say, depending on the size of the pig and how far along they are.
So we're farming pigs, which will eat anything. So you don't worry about what... I do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
The pharmaceutical companies are getting rich.
Well, that's the thing. There's like let me just look this up. I want to make sure that I'm right about that.
Now I hate to even be like that because I know pharmaceutical companies have research and development, and it takes many years to get a product from hey, maybe that we can do this to here it is, here's your cancer killer.
Right.
It takes many, many years and a lot of doctors and a lot of test tubes along the way. The bill is very, very high.
Yeah.
But I just told you that we're pulling in at least $120 million a year.
Right. Exactly.
When does it get paid off for? Because my parents, my dad is diabetic too. And that's some of their big problems, having to pay for insulin.
Right.
I am a free market man and I am a businessman.
Right. But that shit's just insane.
Come on.
It's insanity. And here's the thing, man, and I'm not going to go political with this, but we are dangerously close to making that difficult for your parents. And we are this close to making it very difficult for you and I. Because by the time they're talking about this new healthcare thing or whatever taking over, you and I will be at that point where we're kind of relying on additional assistance in getting some kind of healthcare. Which we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a few minutes here. No, you don't want to talk about it? Let's not ruin the day. Novo Nordisk is one. Sanofi is the other one. That's what it is. And then there's one called Mankind. And then the other two, yeah, I know. It's Man, M-A-N-N kind, which is weird. And then there's a partnership of Bristol Myers Squibb, which we know them, and AstraZeneca, which is one that does some of these don't really do insulin. They do like insulin, like the pens that people take. They say all you have to do is take this once a day to manage your diabetes. But Novo Nordisk is the biggest, and they are phenomenally huge, dude. Man, billions of dollars a year. I guarantee you how much they're making. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and it's Centers for Disease Control say 25.8 million Americans are affected by diabetes. So
how many?
I was wrong at the 40%. Wait a minute. Oh, this was back in 2012. So
okay.
that's not correct. And there are a couple more players in the diabetes world, and I do believe the one you mentioned.
Merck.
Yeah, I do believe they're a game player now, so I think they're in there.
Well, they're huge. They're huge.
Yeah. Lilly's huge too. So is Bristol Myers Squibb. But a lot of these are just they're doing other stuff. They're doing supplemental. I was wrong. Lantus I thought was done by Novo Nordisk, but it's not. It's actually done by Sanofi. That's why I know the name Sanofi, because they do that. My kids have to take 2 different types. My wife has to take 2 different types too. Lantus.
Sanofi?
Yes.
Isn't that what it should cost? So, no fee.
Yes, no fee. Exactly. But yeah, no, they didn't. They don't. If you really are hard up with drug companies, like you need their drug and you don't have the money to pay for it, a lot of them are doing subsidizing now, which is really cool. Like the company Crestor, or the company that makes Crestor, I think is Bristol Myers Squibb or somebody like that. Crestor now has a thing that if you can't afford your prescription, you call this number, you explain to them the situation, they ask you a few questions. Once they're all answered and you qualify, you'll get it for $3 a shot. $3 a vial. Or not vial, but like 90 pills or whatever.
Now, let me ask you that. Let me ask you this. They're making something off that. Am I correct? Or are they doing it pro bono?
Yeah, no, they're doing it pro bono. Yeah.
So they are losing money.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, at that point they would be losing money. If they're giving you like the stuff for $3 a month.
And is it being subsidized by the U.S. government?
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. That I haven't looked into that, so I don't know.
Okay. Now, with that being said, we both just got done talking and agreeing that diabetic adults, the majority of them, don't seem to give a shit.
Right. They don't care about it, right.
So if we start giving them their meds for free, don't you think that would make them give a shit even less?
I think. And I'm glad you were saying it that way, because I thought you were going to be like, oh, they're going to pay attention more and now take care of their diabetes. I'm like, no. They're going to be like, no. Because they didn't have to fight for it. You're right. It's just like my mom taught me, and everybody taught her, and her parents taught her. You work for something, you work hard to get what you want, you get that thing, and you work as hard as you can to keep it. And that's what it is with the diabetes. And a lot of the times it's, somebody's handing it to them, and they don't have an appreciation for it. But if they had to work every day of their lives just to be able to afford it.
Now let's take this subject and just put it on a back burner for a second.
Okay.
And keep that front burner lit. We're going to put another pan on it.
Pan.
This pan is called Narcan pan.
Oh, yeah.
Narcan pan.
Yes.
Narcan's also very expensive.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is, I think. I think the individual pens are like $100 a piece or something.
And how many doses is a pen?
Just one.
Just one?
Yeah, it's like an EpiPen. Just you're it.
Okay.
That's it.
Now, municipalities and hospitals and police departments, municipalities, are getting to the point where they're starting to say, you know what? We saved this dude for the third time this month. That's $300. How much more?
Are we going to have to deal with?
We're going to have to do it 5 next month? How much more? How about, and people are starting to say and agree with, draw the line.
Just let the fuckers die.
Just draw the line.
That's basically
3 and that's it. That's it.
There's a good...
So now that we have that all flambéed pan, let's pull the other pan up and say, let's do the same thing, man.
Yeah.
You know, if you can't get your diabetes under control, strike 3, you're done, pal.
Right.
Go sit down. You're done.
Right. Well, that's the thing, though, and it really just comes down to humanitarian terms. And a lot of people are like, you've got to save them no matter what. They're a human being. They deserve the right. But do you really deserve the right to live if you've been trying to kill yourself? Think about it.
We could go round and round.
I tell you right now, if you... Okay. And I think people don't look at it, and this is where my Republican side comes in, which is funny. But this is where my Republican side comes in that if a person overdoses on, let's say, Tylenol, let's say they just took a fucking boatload of Tylenol, and somebody caught them, and then they took them to the hospital, and they pumped their stomach, and they got them all done, and then they didn't have insurance, so they had to come up with something to make payments or whatever. It's a good possibility that we should save that person. We should help that person because it might have just been a thing. But let's say they got out of the hospital and the next day they did the exact same fucking thing. And somebody else came to them and said, oh my God, they tried to commit suicide, take them to the hospital, pump their stomach, do all the same rigmarole, same dumb shit, and make new payments on top of the other payments. Then they left the hospital and they did the exact same thing again. There's some point you've got to get to, and I know the line you're talking about. It's you've got to get to that line where it's just like, this is not your life anymore. If you want to die so badly, you're going to have to let them because you cannot keep doing that process over and over and over
Well,
again.
you can't keep doing for somebody.
Right. I mean,
Eventually, they have to do for themselves,
right, but-
or show a sign.
right, that they're even willing to do that. And usually at this point, I will say there's a glitch in what I was saying. Usually at this point, somebody would have stepped in and said, we need to hospitalize you, like, mental hospitalize you. And at that point, even then, at that point, if they went in and they did all this they were supposed to do, which would have been a possibility, and then they left and they did the exact same thing again, if they just keep doing that process, it's at some point you just have to stop and say, when is enough? Is enough enough? When is enough? I'm all about humanitarianism. I want to see people eat. I want to see people be okay. I want to see them be healthy. But if you want to kill yourself, first of all, you should probably find a different way, because overdosing on Tylenol is only going to eat a hole in your stomach and kill your liver, which is a nice, long, painful, slow death. And then, but I see what you're saying. There should be a line.
Well, I'm just raising up some points to talk about, because I don't have any answers myself. With the Narcan answer, 3 strikes and you're out. Okay, all right, but I guarantee you, the person holding the 3-strike rule method, whatever, once his brother comes in for the 4th Narcan serving,
right? Yeah,
it's different when it's your brother.
Yeah,
it's different whenever it's your mom.
Right. Well, that's the thing. If there's a defined rule, if there's something there, it says that, this person, even if they're related to you in any regard, or even friends, best friends, whatever, if they're stupid enough to keep making that dumb decision to keep going back to it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about, they had Narcan in 2012 and they had Narcan in 2017 and then they had Narcan in 2020. Now we should just let them 3 strikes and you're gone. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like within a series or a period of time, being like 6 months or whatever. Like that could be the maximum, or have you.
Shouldn't once be truly enough? Shouldn't once going up to death's door and knocking on it, and you being a baby put in a basket right at death's door and left there, and then some good Samaritan comes along, picks you up using Narcan, so to speak, brings you back from death's door,
swaddles you in Narcan.
Shouldn't that be enough to wake up the average person? I realize they're under some hardcore drugs. I understand that. And it's very hard to see when you're under some hardcore drugs.
Yeah.
But don't matter where we are in life, we can all see life and death. Can't we?
Yeah. I mean, we can, It's just...
Don't we all, no matter what state we're in, pick life or death?
Yeah. We do. We consciously decide whether or not we want to stay alive or not. But then there are those times, and you know these feelings, I've had them too, where it's just like, I just want to step outside my life for a minute. Go and get stoned, or go and get drunk.
Absolutely.
And if that's the case, these people are just picking the wrong thing. Hey, heroin, great, let's go do a shot of heroin.
I'm going on vacation today.
Yeah. You don't do a shot of heroin? Yes, you do. Yeah, vacation. That's right. Head off for the night and, don't have to worry about it. Yeah. No, but that's what I'm saying. If you do it one time, I think that may be just a little bit too little. But if you're doing it enough, you know what I mean? Like, I would say maybe 2, but definitely 3. There should be enough is enough at that point.
Shouldn't something click? And then again, put this on the diabetics.
Yeah.
Put this back on the diabetics.
Yeah.
Isn't 3 times to the hospital enough?
Right. Yeah.
Now sometimes they can't control it.
Right.
Sometimes shit gets out of whack and it's not their fault.
Right. Yeah, it does. It definitely happens. Ketoacidosis and then comatose. One way or the other. If you get too high for too long, you go to ketoacidosis. If you go too low, even just one time you go too low, you'll go into a coma. You will go into like what looks like DTs. You'll start shaking and then like violently shaking, and then you'll eventually pass out, and then you'll eventually go into a coma. And if somebody doesn't help you before that happens, things get bad. You can die. So,
Well, not to change the subject or anything, but I think that's about all that we can talk about for that.
Yeah, fuck depressing.
Let's talk about those Penn State students.
Oh,
are you familiar with that kid? With that?
I am not.
I don't know if it was hazing or what, but there was a drinking party at a fraternity in Penn State.
Okay.
And a young man drank too much.
Okay. Oh, yes.
So
I know the situation here.
You're familiar with the situation?
Yes, he went down the flight of steps one way or another and ended up at the bottom, and everybody thought he just needed to sleep it off,
right.
Supposedly according to them. And even though he was gray, pallid, and not breathing, they kind of were just like, he's fucking with us, and let him die.
Do you think charges should have been filed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I definitely think I think that, and I think they should be, taken out of the school. And I think they should definitely have some type of, not only the punishment for that, but, a caning somewhere. Dude, because, I've been in that situation. You've been in that situation. We've all been in that situation where we let somebody just die in front of us. No, I'm just kidding. No, where we went out and we were partying and having a good time, and dude was on the floor, and it just looked like it was fine. And it was like, man, I'm not fucking with them. I'm just going to leave him alone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just pee over top of him.
Yeah. Just piss him off. Or on, whichever. Whatever it takes. But yeah, I mean, that kind of shit happens. It does. I've been to those kinds of parties where people are so intoxicated one way or another with either, dope or fucking, you can't really, die from dope, but I mean.
Yes, you can.
You can. 15,000 pounds and what?
1,500 pounds in 15 minutes.
15 minutes, that's what it is.
15 and 15.
Yeah.
Ingest 1,500 pounds.
Somehow, yeah.
In 15 minutes.
So it'd be like taking something the size of a jumbo jet and smoking all of it. In a matter of 15 minutes, because, dude, weed is light for the most part. Unless you pack it way, way in, then, yeah. I did see these new things. Did you see these new things? I've been staying up on the weed trade. We should actually have a really decent corner on this every once in a while. You know what I mean? Like a little talk fest about these things. I saw this new product called moon rocks. Have you seen this shit yet? They look like little green moon rocks.
Isn't that the stuff that killed Mikey from the Life commercials?
No, that was Pop Rocks.
Oh.
And they didn't really kill him. That was just an old wives' tale. He was just in the commercial not that long ago, as a matter of fact. But no, these things are moon rocks. They're about as big as a $50 or so. They're green, and they're totally like ribbed, or not ribbed, but for his pleasure. No, they have little pits and stuff in them, and they do look like a little rock is basically what it is. And then you crack it open, and it's like all this weed's been compressed into this rock. So when you open it up, it's like it looks like you opened up an eighth.
Ooh.
And there it is.
Ooh.
It's really wild shit. Tommy Chong just introduced that the other day, as a matter of fact. And, dude, I was like, I'd really like to smoke that. I'd like to try and see what that tastes like.
Is it weed or is it spice?
It's weed.
It's weed?
It's weed.
How can they market that?
I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is that it is a large amount of weed compressed into a very small area, which I've known for a long time you can do, especially with plants. But I didn't realize, man, that you could make it look like that and then sell it like that. And then, you get like an eighth of weed in this one little rock. You rip it apart.
But whenever you smoke it, you smoke one bowl, or are you smoking a half of an eighth?
Once you crack that rock open, it's just like regular weed at that point. So you can,
it fluffs back up?
You can fluff it back up, yeah. Yeah. And there's buds all throughout it. You know how those the smaller plants, they like the kinds that only grow like maybe a foot tall or whatever, like purple kush or indigo or whatever. They have little buds, tiny buds in them. That's what this looked like. It just had little buds inside of it. Yeah, and they I'm pretty sure once you rip it open, it's no seeds and stems. It's just all green, and yeah, pretty sure you can do whatever you want with it. Put it in a grinder or whatever.
It reminds me of that. What was that little tiny wafer white paperish kind of thing that you bit into it, and there was all kinds of colorful candy balls in it? No. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Paper with balls. No.
It's kind of styrofoamy. Actually, reminded me of. Have you ever had any of those Catholic Eucharists? Have you ever eaten one of those before?
Is that the little wafer?
The little wafer.
Yeah.
You've
had
had
that
one
for
of
communion.
those?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that,
Yeah.
but it's shaped like a flying saucer, and it's really small. It's about like maybe silver dollar sized.
Right.
And it's bubbled on either end. You just bite it open, and then it's filled with these little tiny colorful candies.
Huh,
Candy balls.
I never had that.
I'm gonna have to go find one.
Yeah, dude, that's.
But
freaking
when you
awesome.
said the moon rock's filled with weed, this is what I imagined.
Yeah.
So what is the outside of that moon rock made with?
It's like they took the finest particles. If you put like weed in a grinder and you grind it down to a real fine source, take that
Powder.
yes, and then powder basically, and just put it on the outside of this mold, and then compress the weed with that powder on the outside. It just makes it look like that's what it is.
Oh.
And it's like, and it could even be a situation where they've moistened the powder on the outside and then compressed it down, and that's why it took the form and didn't open up. But when I saw him open it up, it was like, wow, that was pretty easy to open. It wasn't like real difficult or anything.
Where can we get one?
I don't know. I've been kind of wondering about that. Not sure. Not at all sure. Yeah. But the new thing, yeah. Look it up, man. As a matter of fact, yeah. Might be able to find it for you.
Release.
Yes, there they are. What are moon rocks and how do I get some? See, there it is, man. That shit is definitely kind of cool looking.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I'm in love.
Yeah, it's crazy. One of them actually looks like when you crack it open, it has like looks like a hash on the outside of it.
Hashish.
Yeah, like it's got the powder stuff, and then when you break it open, it's got like a black resin stuff on the outside.
I've given up on hash.
Yeah,
If anybody tells me, "Oh, I've got hash,"
yeah,
you know what I'm gonna say from them?
What?
You've got nothing. You're nothing. No, I don't know. It's just like I haven't had good hash since like 92, 93.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Best hash was in the 70s.
And I guess it's one of those things where it's just not economically feasible to turn your weed into hash because there's no point. You lose.
Right.
So why lose?
Yeah.
So hash really doesn't even exist anymore. It does.
Yeah, but everybody dabs now, so they're not worried so much about, the resonation of all the THC into one form. But I think, honestly, the dabbing is actually not even my cup of tea. I just want the regular old bud. Just the fuck is that? Okay. Yeah, but I wouldn't kick somebody out if they had hash. Like, dude, if I haven't been stoned in a little while, I'd be like, yeah.
All right, let's change the topic.
All right, changing of the topics.
Go ahead. Load me up.
Load you up on what?
Pick a topic.
You want to pick a topic?
Yeah.
Pick a topic. Any topic.
Let me ask you a question. Why is weed way more prevalent in men than it is in women?
What do you mean? Like it's their thing?
It's
like
men's thing.
It's a men thing?
Yeah. It's like 4-to-1 men.
Yeah, it is.
Why?
I don't know. But if you go on Periscope, that's not the case. It's 50-50 on there.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot more female smokers on there. And they're the ones that always like to talk the shit about the smoking.
I was going to say, I think it's more not the weed, but me.
Yeah. It's watch me.
Yeah.
But if you go on there, seriously, half the people that are getting high are women. And it's like, oh, okay, well. It must be a conscious connection for them to try and get out there and be cool,
Every girlfriend I've ever had that was a stoner,
yeah,
we fought over it.
Really?
Yes. So
that's why it's good not to have people.
That's why it's good to have a wife that does not smoke anything.
For now. As she gets older, she'll be like, yeah, let me try some of that.
I don't think she'll ever smoke.
That's weird. That's always weird to me.
She has tried it, though.
Oh, she has?
She has tried
okay,
it.
that's different. I've heard people that I know, even family members, who are like, I'm never going to try that. I'm like, but why? What the fuck is the point? You've never heard anybody die on weed, unless they went and did something really stupid.
Well, it's something your body doesn't need anyways.
Right, yeah. PCP. No.
Very good. Put down the coffee then.
Yeah, exactly. Stop smoking that cigarette. Get that shit out your mouth. No. But yeah, I have family members who are like saying that kind of shit. They were like, dude, I am totally not going to freaking ever try that shit. And I'm just like, but why? Why not?
Did Did you actually ask you that? Or did you actually ask them that, or were you just thinking it rhetorically in your mind?
No, I basically, when they said they were never going to try it, I did tell them. I asked them why.
And what was their general response? Was there a general response?
Yeah, it was kind of like a split between two outcomes. One of them was, well, I don't know, and the other one was, oh my God, are you enticing me to do this?
So none of them was a hardcore good answer.
Correct. And that's the thing. It's like, I don't need that stuff in my body, but how do you know you don't need that stuff in your body?
Well,
I'm hearing good shit now. All of a sudden, everybody's saying there's a bunch of news reports coming out now. I don't know if it's fake news or what the deal is, but they're saying that marijuana is starting to cure cancer.
Well, I've never seen a pothead die of cancer.
Never. Tommy Chong is like fucking 972 years old. That guy should be Yoda.
Cancer is afraid of him.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, I got Tommy Chong.
I'm gonna die here in his lung. Oh shit, he's just gonna breathe me out.
But I throw some intoxicants, not all of them, but I throw some intoxicants, alcohol, weed, and a few other miscellaneous ones into a group of escapes.
Okay.
Meaning that life is tough.
Yeah.
Life is easier today than it has ever been.
Right. Yeah.
But life used to be tough.
Very much so.
So if you want to knock a few back and feel good after busting your ass all day,
that was the great
you
escape.
go right ahead.
Yeah.
You want to smoke a joint?
Exactly.
You go right ahead. Life is tough. So, damn you.
Turn it off. I'm just fucking with you. No. Think about this for a second. Think about how many people work really hard all day long, come home and smoke a joint. Probably quite a few. Even just, they're younger people. Maybe even older people. I've known a couple of older stoners. But younger people to be like, oh man, I'm going to go home after work, working hard day. I'm going to fucking rip off one. And what are they doing it for? They're relaxing. That's all they want to do it for. They want to relax.
Relax and or escape.
Right. And that shit really, really knocks you out. I mean, like, I don't know about you, maybe not you so much, but me, if I get high at night, that's it. I'm fucking going to bed, like, early. 10 o'clock, something, I'm out. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, if I get stoned really early in the morning, like 7:45,
yeah,
it's like, oh man,
your day's fucked.
Yeah, I can't go to bed till 1 a.m. now.
Yeah.
No, I see what you mean. I totally see what you mean, because there are some people out there that could have a 3 martini lunch.
Oh damn! Your Old Spice is going off.
There's some people out there that can have a 3 martini lunch.
Yeah, and
it won't affect them. They'll go back to work and hammer out that day and go home, drive home.
They'll be the same vicious person they were.
And me, if I do a 3 martini lunch, I'm passing out before I get to the door.
Exactly.
Going back to work is not an option.
Yes, at that point, fuck that.
However, I'll sit in the parking lot and smoke 2 joints and go back to work like nothing happened.
Exactly. And there is a lot of people out there that can do that. They can go home every night, smoke a joint, be cool for the night, maybe go out and get some dinner, whatever, come home, go to sleep at normal time, wake up in the morning, go to work. And to be honest with you, it was when I was getting high, like on a regular basis, that was something I could do. It was almost like, it felt like it changed my life in a way that was like, okay, I'm doing the right thing now. Like I'm going out working a job and I'm coming home and then, get partying on for a little bit and then, go to bed at a normal hour instead of 5 o'clock in the morning, like this morning. And then, going in and going to work and everything being cool. And then, same rigmarole after that. The thing is, though, is that I'm like you. I put it into a basis of that. A couple beers, a joint, maybe even a tap of Coke. It depends. You know what I mean? I'm not for the Coke, but I mean, just something that's going to get you away. It's going to rescue you for a little while. It's going to take you away from the bullshit that you're dealing with. That being the case, then, and then people come to me and ask me, like family members come to me and ask me, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to, take an illegal drug? Well, first of all, the drug shouldn't be illegal.
Amen.
And then,
are we? I want to say something about that. Are we free or not?
We are to an extent.
Are we the freest nation in the world?
Probably not.
Are we supposed to be?
Yes.
So, and what is being free? To me, being free is the ability to make the right decision.
To be allowed to make the right decision. Yeah, I would agree with that.
So, if the wrong decision is smoking crack, how can I say this? Then I'm not free because it's not an option to me anyways. So I'm not free to make the right decision.
Right. Right.
So I don't know if that makes any sense or not.
It does. It does to an extent. And I understand that. But also when they're talking about freedom, I know they're talking about stuff that they haven't considered against the law. You should be able to do the stuff that's not against the law. And that's to an extent true. And I know that there are other countries. A really great example is Canada, where they are so much more free than we are. I mean, they've got pretty much everything. Universal health care. You can get fucked up there, go into a hospital, get taken care of, bandaged up, walk out. And then the people are like, oh my God, how do they do that? The doctors and nurses and shit up there don't make anything. No, they do. They make stuff. Because what happens is you get a standard of care from the government, but you get a better elevated, greater kind of care if you buy personal insurance to go on top of it. So that's the great thing. People are covered to a minimum, and that's why doctors end up, still making some decent money. Anyway, but back to Canada has their freedoms, and they do a lot more stuff than we're allowed to do. One of those is most of the provinces allow you to get high. And I'm like, that's the way it should be. It should be like that here in the United States. Give us an opportunity to fuck up. And technically, if you really, really think about it, we do. We do, to an extent, have the ability to show that we can do the right thing or not fuck up, or fuck up, and then get caught and go to jail. To an extent, that does exist. Because I could go out right now, get high on crack, go to a fucking bank, rob the bank, go to a Walmart, kill people, and then come home. They might catch me. They may not. They'd be like, we're looking for a fat black dude. He's not black, he's white. He's wearing all black.
So there you just committed 4 crimes.
Right.
Just to do one.
Sure.
So if we just had it illegal in the first place, would that person go out and kill, steal, and destroy? Probably
not. But then again, we had this conversation with my sons last week, which was a great show. I thought it was a great show.
Oh, it was an awesome show.
Had that conversation with them about rape, and we didn't go any further into it, but really that's what it comes down to is things like, you don't want to go out and rape somebody. That's not the right thing to do, but you do have the ability to do it, if you wanted to. Does that make us free? I don't know. I don't know. To be honest with you, I think I don't like the fact that people rape other people, but there are, limitations to what I would consider we do have our freedoms. Some of those are starting to show their ugly face, the ugly side of things.
Like?
Guns.
Okay.
That's been happening over the past, about 20 years or so, where we've just sort of gone to this, okay, we've gone from this argument of, we all have our rights of guns, and everybody was like, yeah, we're cool with that. And now some stupid asses are making it more difficult for the people that don't have guns or the people that don't believe in guns to have an argument. And now they're coming out of the woodwork and saying, we got to do some kind of gun control or blah, blah, blah. And other people that want their guns, that, they have them. They don't have them for a specific reason. There's no reason on this planet anybody really needs a gun. But they do because they like them. And that being the case, I think, they have that as a freedom. But it's, like I said, rearing its ugly head. This thing's turning around and making it difficult for us to maintain our Second Amendment right. Let's just put it that way.
I'm not going to change your mind about guns.
No, probably not ever.
And you're not going to change my mind about guns.
Yeah, no, probably not ever.
You can change my diaper.
When you get old and stupefied. Hey, I got some stew in my asshole. Come here. Yeah, nah. I don't think it's up to anybody to change anybody's mind about guns. There are people that do want to change people's minds. Don't get me wrong, but that's not what our situation is about. My situation is about the fact that I've had way too many friends kill themselves with guns. And yours is you've gone out and played with guns enough. I call it played with, but that's basically what it is. You're having a little bit of fun. Don't tell me you did fire a gun and we're like, hey, fuck yeah, man!
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's an adrenaline rush.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you go out and play with those, and it's a great feeling to you, and you'd like to be able to continue to do that, and that's fine.
Yes and no. I mean, it was fun. Will it become a hobby? No.
No. Yeah.
Do I own a couple guns? For protection, yes.
Yeah. Even though you'd never be able to get them if you had to. Like right now, if you walked out of here and somebody attacked you, you'd be like, shit, I don't have a gun with me.
Well, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have a gun with me.
Yeah. But I do. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
You totally got me sidetracked. I forgot where I was going.
Yeah, we were talking about the fact that, like gun rights, gun ownership.
Don't you think, though, that people who are willing to kill are going to do it anyways, even if guns were never invented?
Right, but we can't use that as an argument, though.
But we've been having murder
right
long before we've had guns.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. Let's do this way. Take all of the shootings that have happened in the past 20 years. Okay, all of them. How many of those would have happened if they had a knife? Probably not any of them. You see what I'm saying? That it's true. They probably wouldn't have occurred. Not to say that all of them wouldn't occur, but Newtown wouldn't have been a thing. Sandy Hook wouldn't have been a thing.
Well, we don't know that. Let's just say, for the benefit of argument, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Guns were not invented. And all they had was a knife.
No. You'd have to make it so that guns are real, but we just don't have control. You can't own a gun. Like Australia, you can own one, but it has to be a hunting rifle, and that's it. You can't buy an, and if you try to buy one on the black market, even just a pistol, they're like $37,000. Yeah.
So the government can come in and do whatever they want, and you're not going to do anything about it. Why? Government's got bigger, badder, stronger, faster guns than your little hunting rifle.
But they still have stuff that
only goes 100 yards.
They still have stuff that defies whatever you could potentially have. Dude, they have predator drones that could blow you out of a house. They can thread a fucking needle with a missile.
Which is why I need bigger, better guns.
Well, see, that's the thing. You're never gonna outpace the government.
No,
never. As long as you live, you won't outpace them.
No, but there's one government, 200 million people with guns.
Yeah. There's a lot of people. You're right, and I understand that, and that's what the Second Amendment was there for. It's to create it sort of it's to be a makeshift militia should we need to overthrow the government. Not necessarily overthrow in such a traitorous way, but it's
you're
not
absolutely
working.
right, dude. You were absolutely right. You said it right.
Right. Which, I mean, in the past, I don't know, since I've been alive, I've seen the government go this way and that, and it's just been really shit. And I think one of those things that we're never going to be able to change is the fact that they can kind of do whatever the hell it is they want to do. No matter what we try. There's nothing that we can do to make that change. And, I might bitch and gripe and complain about Trump, or I might bitch, gripe, and complain about Gore, or fucking Bush, or, anybody, even Obama. And I can honestly say that none of them have quite any control enough to change our lives on a daily basis. Nobody has affected that sort of change enough to do that. But I do know this. I posted this on Facebook today. Oh, God damn it, I'm back on Facebook, people. I posted it on Facebook today. There was never one president more than I have ever had more things good happen in my life than President Obama. Now, I'm not saying, I'm not leading that point as, oh yeah, Obama's the reason why. I'm just saying all those things happened under his administration. Everything happening now is just kind of tossed up in the air because I've been looking for a job and the jobs are getting less and less. And I'm like,
I see him as getting more and more.
I thought that too, but then I started looking on Indeed, which is like the big job site right now. And I have saved different searches that I can look up. Like one of them's courier near my home. And I'm looking for that, and they keep diminishing. They keep getting smaller and smaller. Eventually now the Courier doesn't have any. There's none. If it is, I will go into that save search or whatever, and it'll come up with jobs that are sort of like that, but not the same thing. So, I mean, and like I said, I can't blame our president for that. There's no way that I could do that. I think that the situation is, if anything, the situation is people are getting nervous because of affected changes.
Only half.
Yeah.
I've seen this, dude. I have seen it, and I'm ready to spill my beans.
Okay.
For a small fee.
All right, I'll pay your fee. What is it?
The right wing, when Obama got in, the right side of this country, the correct side of this country, was all like, end of the world, start prepping, end of the world.
Right.
Get it all ready, start prepping.
Right. They even came out with movies.
Trump got in office. Glory, hallelujah. The one ad started opening up. The pocketbooks started opening up. And stuff started getting freer on the right. Then you look on the left. The left was like, end of the world, start prepping, end of the world. And it's like, it's so true. It's so true.
That is.
People on the right hated Obama.
Right.
Myself included.
Right.
I hate saying that.
Right.
Because I never hated anybody like I did Obama.
Okay.
And
which is just weird. But
when I look back on it, it's done and over with.
Right.
It was like a toothache. It's pulled. It's gone.
Right. But you're not missing any limbs.
Little bastards flushed down the...
But you're not missing any limbs. You're not changed in any way. You still live in the same place you live at. You still make the same money that you made.
Yeah, but I
you
don't
still have
see much of that.
You still have the same health care. What do you mean you don't see as much, dude? The taxes never changed. They were same all the way from Bush all the way to now.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
My government taxes have been the same. My wife paid the same amount of taxes throughout all those years.
Well, that's her dumbass fault.
I'm going to tell her you said that. She's actually going to listen. She's going to call you. And
she don't listen to us. Our wives don't listen to us.
I know, right? Yeah. They don't listen to their men. No, but, I hear, that's the thing, though. And this is the big problem. And I'm willing to admit that this is the problem. People on the right, the far right, like yourself, want to be against the people that are on the far left.
No.
Then why make all these comments about them? Libtards, cucks, fucking...
I never said that.
I know. You never said it, but the people that are on your side, the alt-right, they've said it. Mm-hmm. They've made these comments.
Oh, they've been saying it for years, dude.
But they've been very, very argumentative. Oh, yeah, you're right. It has been this growing division, and it's been since... what was his name?
9/11.
No, Nixon. It's been since Nixon
Actually,
that we
if you want to go back
dividing.
further, I go back to 1962 is where this problems in this country started.
That could be.
But
could be.
Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, until he got shot in 63.
What? No. It wasn't Kennedy.
Oh.
It's my belief when they took prayer out of school.
Oh.
That's when shit started happening in this country.
I don't see what it would do today, especially with the technology we have now. I think kids could say the prayer, and I'm not for that, but I mean, if they did say the prayer, then I'm pretty sure that, other kids would still be on Facebook, other kids would still be on Twitter, things would go down, people would be assholes.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think it opened up the door. There's nothing wrong with Facebook. I mean, on its own merit.
Right.
People waste a lot of time on it, and therefore they make it. It's like money. Money is a tool.
Right.
Money is not the root of all evil.
Right.
Money is a tool. What the root of all evil is people's greed.
Is evil. The root of all evil is just evil.
It's just evil, okay?
Yeah,
just evil.
It's just evil. Yeah.
Money is neutral.
I think the 7 deadly sins are the evilest things you can do. Greed, envy, sloth, lust, all those things. They're bad. They're all bad news.
I don't have any of those.
And I, dude, it took me until like 5-10 years ago to figure out that those weren't even in the Bible. The cardinal deadly sins are something from like Dante or some shit. They were like written by some other dude, and
some Catholic.
No, I don't even think it was that. I think it was Dante that wrote them, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, but the fact of the matter is they fit perfectly. They don't go along with the commandments. They just fit in their own thing. These emotions, these feelings, these thoughts of doing those things is what gets us in trouble. And for the most part, it's true. But let me go back to where I was at here. alt-right and far left, okay? They've been bashing, and it's only been getting worse. And the reason why it's getting worse is because of the internet. I am 100% proof positive that that's exactly what it is. Because here's the thing. If nobody knew you and they were to come up to you and talk to you at the job and just be like, hey, how you doing? And you'd be like, hey, I'm not doing too bad, Your rapport with each other is great. You have a wonderful time. You're alt-right and he's fucking far left. You would never express those immediate things. You would never be like, do you like Trump? And he'd be like, fuck you. You'd never do that.
I do have customers to come up to me and ask me, do you like Trump? Did you vote for Trump?
Yeah.
They do.
Do they?
Sexy.
Are they
You have a
usually?
message.
Are they usually for Trump or against?
They're
him?
usually for Trump.
Yeah. See, that's different. They might be able to do that, But at the same time, those people who are aligned to your side, you might have had conversations with them before. I would find it kind of hard to believe if there would be like one person that walked up to you who you've never met before say that.
It has happened once, but
Really?
usually they are people that I've had some conversations with. And I'd be willing to take a guess. It wouldn't take more than 5-10 minutes talking to me to realize that
You're a little right leaning.
Yeah.
A little more than right leaning. Hell, you're just over there. But that's the thing, man. You can walk up to pretty much anybody in this world right now, unless you know them through Facebook, through Twitter, through any of that shit. You can walk up to them right now, have a complete conversation. If you never bring up politics, the two of you would get along just fine.
And religion.
Yeah, you probably don't want to bring up religion.
Which
Abortion.
is why I don't talk about either two of those.
Abortion, religion, and politics. Those are the three things you don't talk about. But but I think, to be honest with you, that would happen with 99% of the people you'd meet. That you could walk up to them, hold a great conversation. You might even get to like that person. And then if that ever comes up, that you're far right and they're far left, things might change. They shouldn't, though. You know what I mean? It's like me. I'm centrist. So I'm still a Republican, but I like the Republican ways of old. I don't like the new shit. The new shit to me is not Donald Trump. The new shit to me is, maybe George W. Bush, although he still was not the brightest bulb on the tree. Still, I like the old ways. I like the old thinking. Doesn't mean, I like less regulation. Let's put it that way. It does not mean that I don't see the things from the left and say some of that stuff's okay too. One of the biggest ones being universal health care. Saw somebody posted something today, as a matter of fact. They were talking about if we took the immediate route from the budget, what we spend on Medicare, Medicaid, the VA hospitals, and then there was one other thing. The total government budget from those is enough to not only pay for a universal health care system, but it's also enough left over to put more money back into other stuff. And it's true, except they're saying for an established system, because what they used was Canada. They took Canada and they realized, Canadians, they all have a universal. Oh no, I'm sorry, it wasn't Canada. It was the UK. All those people over there, we have 5 times more people than they do. That being the case, we had to multiply the numbers and blah, blah, blah. And eventually the numbers, were really big. And it came out, pretty decent. But what it did not establish is that there is always a startup cost. There's always a cost to creating the startup for that kind of thing. And they didn't include that. So
why would you want an entity that is notorious for ballooned budgets, incorrect, poor workmanship,
right,
to run your healthcare? To fill a pothole, we need 10 fucking guys out there. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit. We need 5 fucking guys to fill one pothole.
No, you're right. You're right. I know, and I know what you're saying.
How many government surgeons would you need to be to have his appendix out? I'll be the doctor cutting you open, and I'll be the doctor to be putting in those little robot arms, and I'll be the doctor to actually pull it out, and I'm the doctor that's going to sew you up.
Yeah.
And I'm the doctor that's going to give you a prescription to make you better.
But here's the thing.
That's 5 doctors to fill one pothole.
I bet you dollars to donuts throughout your life you have met a government-supplied doctor.
Oh, I'm sure I have somewhere.
You know what a government-supplied doctor is, right?
No idea.
Government-supplied doctor is they went through a program where they went to school to become a doctor for free. The government paid for it. They went, after that point, served in some rural community. 5 to 7 years is usually the max. Once they got done there, they were able to go and do their own practice or whatever they wanted to do. They could be a surgeon, they could be anything. The fact of the matter is, those people were supplied by the government. I wouldn't say that you would see Obama out there as a surgeon trying to cut somebody open. That's not the case. I think it would be people that were interested in becoming doctors. But you're right, in the effect that people will have to be, there will be a what do they call that shit? A death
panel.
Death panel, yes. There's a death panel. Basically, a few people say, this person gets to live, this person gets to die.
Why? Why do we need that?
That's, yeah, I know. I don't know why we need that either. Why not just
And
cure
there
everybody?
again, it goes back to the Narcan. Oh, wait a minute. That's my brother. Give him the 4th dose.
Right, exactly. There you go.
Wait a minute. That's my grandma you're about to kill.
Yeah.
Kill somebody else's grandma instead.
That's my grandma's cousin's 4th cousin removed roommate's best friend's dog's father.
And if you approve that, we'll get your niece a job.
Right, yeah. There is a lot of room for corruption there. Although, I will admit, most countries that have universal health care don't run into as many problems when it comes to corruption. But we are the United States, and we do like to lead at all that shit.
We lead in everything, including corruption.
Somebody will figure it out, and they will figure out how to fuck the system. Dude, they've already figured it out. There's a company called DaVita, which is weird because our co-people tonight, our interviewees are both that name. But DaVita is a urinalysis or a dialysis company. Okay, their CEO is a very awkward dude, and they have figured out ways. Okay, according to John Oliver, which I do tend to believe his stuff because he has a research staff. According to him, they have DaVita has contracts with the United States government because Richard Nixon was the only sitting president to ever write into a draft of medical stuff that dialysis is the one thing that the United States would cover for people that live in the United States. In other words, that's universal health care for that one thing.
Why was it bestowed upon President Nixon, that responsibility? Why is he? How can he say that? What gives him the authority to do that?
Well, he pushed it through. I mean, somehow I guess he had the government or the Congress with him, and he got it to go through. I don't know. Don't remember the immediate thing about it, but it's what happened. And since then, because it is such a big thing. As a matter of fact, dialysis treatment is very expensive, very costly, because basically what they're doing is they're pumping your blood outside your body, cleaning it, and then putting it back in. What your kidneys would technically do, but they're not working, so now this machine does it for you. But yeah, I guess there was such dire need for it back then that he worked with Congress, I believe, to create a thing that states anybody that needs dialysis would be able to get it for free. That's why all these kidney dialysis places are fucking cropping up everywhere. We have one that just showed up in Hanover called U.S. Renal Care. I was like, what the fuck?
Do you scratch your head and thinking, out of the 20,000 Hanover residents, is there enough to support a renal care?
Exactly. Yeah, do we really need that one there? How many people are coming from far and wide to do that?
You made me think of a point, and it doesn't really have much bearing, but I have to say it. Do you think companies like Concentra is going to allow drugs to be legal in this country when they are making a shit pot full of money testing for drugs? I saw an ad today. Restaurant worker must pass a drug test. Mm-hmm. Come on.
Yeah, but CEOs never get one drug
right.
test. Not ever.
Right.
Yeah, vice presidents don't see it. Anybody on the board doesn't see it. Nobody sees it. Those fuckers are probably getting stoned, and that's the reason why that worker has to fucking
workers.
Do it. Yeah. Anybody and everybody, if you're not upper management.
I'll tell you something else that really should jerk people's chains, but it doesn't. And it just makes me scratch my head. Dead air. I love it. No,
Who is it?
No, the wrongdoing that's being applied to smokers.
Yeah.
Non-smokers need not apply.
Right.
What? Really?
Yeah. You mean
Or-
smokers need not apply.
Yeah, smokers need not apply.
Yeah.
Or the health or the hospital near my house, which is my favorite hospital,
Yeah.
will not hire you if you have nicotine in your system.
Sure. Yeah.
What really?
What really gives them the right to be able to do
Exactly.
that? That's the main thing.
Exactly. The CEO, let's see his blood. You know what? Let's just test everybody for everything. Let's all have it out on the open.
Right.
You get tested for everything illegal. And we also get to see your cholesterol numbers. And we get to see your sugar numbers. Everybody, it's all open, free game now. If we're going to do it for a section of the society, let's do it for everybody. Let's see how many monsters Jeff had to drink
That's right.
yesterday.
You have too much bull semen in you? Yes. Yeah. No, I again, Republican right that I understand and I believe in. The exact same thing. Then why do they get that regulation?
Why do you have to get into my life? And well, I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but it still does bother me when I see smokers being discriminated against.
Sure.
And people doing nothing about it. It's like I used to work with this fellow named Bob. You remember?
Yeah.
You remember old man Bob?
Yeah. I remember Bob.
He didn't give a rat's ass that we were taxing the smokers to death.
Right.
That's less I gotta pay. Keep taxing them.
Yeah.
And that was his attitude.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, they're being discriminated, and most smokers are below the poverty line. Did you know that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we're going to abuse the poor?
Right, exactly. Well, it's just like this. A really great example of that is this, the gas tax. We have the highest gas tax in the nation.
Yes,
right now.
we do.
Okay. Now think about this for a second. Who gets affected by this? Who gets affected by a higher gas tax?
Well, any Pennsylvanian, first of all.
Technically, yes, but...
And second of all, anybody passing through Pennsylvania, because you cannot get through Pennsylvania without having to stop and purchase gas.
Right, exactly. Well, think about this for a second. Would poor people... Let's look at economic classes. Would poor people be affected by it?
Yes.
No, because they don't have cars. You're poor. You don't have a car.
They do. I guess they do.
Some do. And I'm sure they do, but... They're also paying for their insurance, so they're not putting a lot of gas into their car to begin with.
They're also paying for food. They're also paying for that pizza delivery.
Right. So they're paying, down the line, they're getting all that stuff. So the poor, the poverty-stricken, are not. So you jump out of the poverty-stricken level, now you're in the low-income level. Those are the people that are working, a little over minimum wage, living paycheck to paycheck. They are driving. Just a little bit more than the poverty-stricken, but they are driving. Then you get to the middle class. Middle class has to drive everywhere. We have to drive. We don't have a choice. We need to drive. That's how we keep getting our money, is we fucking drive. So we jump out of the middle class. Now the middle class is the largest segment that uses gasoline to the rich people. Do they care? Fuck no.
Yes and no.
I doubt it. I doubt they care. I would think at the point when we were like, oh yeah, it's $5 a gallon. I think maybe then they were feeling the pinch a little bit. But I'm guaranteeing you now they're not.
Yes and no. Us poverty, low class, and middle class have no problem sleeping at night because we're not worried about losing our money. Rich people are constantly worried about losing their money.
Sometimes, yeah, especially in the market.
So whenever they see, oh my God, gas just went up another dime.
Yeah.
That means for my 20 trucks.
Every rich person I know does not think like that at all. Every rich person I know has the money incoming, and they don't worry about things like that.
Oh, they do worry about losing their money, though.
They would worry about it, yeah. If it was a large loss, yeah. Oh, yeah. If they were like, oh, I just lost $10,000 in the stock market, yeah, then that would be like, it might be a little drop in the bucket of the money that they have.
But they're still worried about it.
Yeah, to an extent, yeah. But the gasoline, man, I'm thinking, if they paid $2 for it now, they pay $5 for it then. First of all, they're not driving all that much. Or if they are, they probably drive or have a limousine, or they probably drive a car that's a gas guzzler anyway. It's probably a Humvee or, whatever. And they're not going to care. They're really not.
Let's talk about gasoline for a second.
Okay.
Let's talk about the average retailer, with the exception of the big boys. Not the big boys, because I don't know where they stand. I know they stand better. But let's talk about my boss, my company.
Okay.
We make about 6 cents per gallon on gasoline.
Is that all?
That's it.
Wow. I knew it was low. Just didn't think it was that low.
So, okay, we're making 6 cents per gallon. That's eaten up with one $2,000 maintenance bill.
Yeah.
Come out and change a little filter.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be $3,000 for a plastic fucking filter.
Yeah. And all you had to do
Well,
was
I
move.
had to drive this big truck out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But people will drive out of their way to save 2 cents per gallon on gas. I can go get it 2 cents cheaper across town. So when I fill up my 20-gallon tank, I'm saving 40 cents.
They used to definitely think like that when gas was around $1. I know I used to think like that. But then when it started going up, if you notice, there's no 1 penny change in the amounts now. It's 5 cents or 10 cents or 4 cents.
Right,
or,
but people are still driving out of their way.
Yes.
And here's another thing.
There's a lot of them like that. And
What about these grocery giants? If you spend what's Giant? What is Giant's gasoline?
it's like every $100 you spend, you get 10 cents off. I think is what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we spend another $100, we're going to save 10 cents off a gallon.
Yeah, my
We're gonna
wife falls for that
We're going to
shit.
save 80 cents, man.
Right.
We're going to save 80 cents.
Sure.
Don't you want that dollar?
Yeah, sure.
People fall for that right
They
and
do.
left.
Yeah, my wife falls for that shit all the time. She's like, well, I was going to buy 1, but they have them on sale now for 2. And if you get 2, you get $1 off. And I'm like, yeah, but you're buying fucking 2.
Well, my father-in-law explained this to me. His wife would come home, well, we saved $8 by getting this brand of paper plates at Kmart as opposed to if we would have went to store X and bought those paper plates.
Right.
And he would say, we would have saved 20 if you wouldn't have bought any.
Right.
You're not saving any money.
Exactly. My wife did that exact same thing. They had if you buy these craft products, you get a $25 gift certificate to Hershey Park or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so now I have to spend $25 to get the $25. So what? Really, I'm spending $50 fucking dollars for stuff I don't even fucking need, man. I can eat the generic mac and cheese. Fuck that dumb shit.
Oh no! For me, I have to spend.
Yeah,
it's name brand food.
Yeah. Oh, well, I eat name brand food.
Well, some things, but most of the time it's name brand food.
Yeah, we do too. I mean, we didn't always like that. We always like to pinch pennies here and there, but we've gotten to that point now where my wife has a champagne taste on a beer pocketbook. So she's like, yeah, let's spend for this. Like the other day we went out and bought wine. We bought a bunch of wine. And I'm like, $85 fucking dollars for wine? And she's like, yeah. She's like, that's how much I'm like, yeah, but I never realized we were spending that much. And like, we drink that shit in a week.
We're now alcoholics.
Yeah, exactly. A case of beer is cheaper. Let me buy the case of beer. But no, yeah. I mean, I don't have any problems with that. But she sees it as her treat, and it's something that she enjoys doing, and it helps our relationship.
Her escape.
Right, exactly.
Her relaxation.
Exactly.
And she's entitled to that.
Sure.
Have a glass of wine.
She worked fucking hard all day. Hells yes. Then she came home and did all the other stuff. And I just sat there. What? What are you looking at me for? Can you get up and do something? No.
Okay, since you insist, I will go and empty this bottle of piss I've been pissing into all day into the toilet.
Yeah.
For you. Yeah. Just kidding.
Yeah, no. But, I had a couple of interesting things happen this week.
Let's hear them.
I met my biological father.
I noticed it. I saw it on Facebook that you are way more taller than him.
Yes, yeah. I'm definitely a lot bigger than he is. I have a feeling I'm probably a lot bigger than most of my now brothers and sisters. I went to bed one day. I was an only child, and I woke up the next day as a middle sibling. I'm like, holy shit, how does that even happen? Yeah, so apparently there's 4 brothers and 3 sisters.
And you have any kind of date meeting them?
Not yet, no. I just started trying to friend them on Facebook, so we'll see what happens with that. That was literally today. So, but yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm really excited. My oldest brother, apparently, Dennis, he let me know that, it's a good situation to be in. That now you found out you have, a biological family. Even though they're half brothers and sisters, it still doesn't matter. But we will be getting together to meet each other and get more involved as a family goes. But that we will also, I should expect to deal more with them than I should my biological father, because he has he's got a lot on his plate. because I also found out that he's going in this Friday. Yeah, talk about impeccable timing. He's going in this Friday for surgery to remove cancer. So, yeah.
What kind of cancer?
It's apparently like an intestinal cancer.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, because he had some stuff going on with his appendix, where he had gotten that cancer in his appendix. And I'm thinking, wow, you couldn't get any luckier with that shit, because they clip that right off and then out of there. You know what I mean? You don't have any more cancer. But no, apparently they did that 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden it's like they're like, well, it looks like a little bit came back, so I think they're going to be clipping out a small amount of his intestine. You know, the intestines run for like 40 feet or whatever it is. So he's just going to cut that piece out and then see how well he does after that. But he has to make it through this surgery, which is, kind of a drag, because, I just found out that he was there. And then yesterday, my mom called just out of the fucking blue. She didn't, I posted that stuff on Facebook, but she hasn't been checking Facebook or whatever. So, she called me out of the blue to let me know that my aunt has lung cancer. Yeah, so she goes in for surgery this week. And, I wish her all the best. Man, she's a great woman. So, but yeah, she just lost her ex-husband a little while ago there, my cousin's father. And then, now they found out she has lung cancer. Now, don't get me wrong, she's been a smoker a really long time. And she has put a good amount of miles on for, the kind of life that she led at some certain points. She definitely had smoked quite a bit.
Was she wild at one time?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. She was, not hard to handle or anything like that, but just, she didn't live like here for too long. She would move down to Florida. She'd come back up here. And, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And then, it's not bad stuff. It's just, she had a really rough life.
Earmarks of a
good, well dragged out life. Yeah, basically. And, but then they found out she has lung cancer. So apparently she only has upper respiratory lung cancer, which is the kind that's on the top node of your lung. So when you breathe in, basically the smoke goes and infiltrates that section first, because, when you breathe it in, it just wants to naturally curl up. So what it does is when you breathe it in, it curls up on both sides of the lungs, and then, it gets down to the other stuff too. But yeah, apparently if they cut off the top part of one of her lungs, she'll be okay. So, so I'm really kind of hoping she's going to be okay. Yeah.
When's her surgery for this?
It's next week, as a matter of fact. Yes, next Tuesday. So I told my mom that I would be heading down there Thursday to see how everything went, and hopefully don't get any bad news. Because both of the surgeries, believe it or not, are not easy. It's not, just walk in, cut it out, Oh, and then my biological father's surgery is also followed by chemotherapy, which apparently his doctor feels very, very positive about the whole situation. He says, getting that part out of there, getting you on this new style of chemotherapy, you should be, good to go in no time flat. So I was like, well, that's good. That's a good thing, because, I like to see cancer get down to the point where it's like, it's just, we took it out, you're good.
Dude, I think we should have cancer licked by now.
I think so, too.
We have had I can tell you of 3 different, right off the top of my head, treatments that we haven't done shit for.
Right.
And it's like, what are we waiting for?
Right, yeah. Oh, and then there's always those foundations and all those nonprofits that are like, we're going to try and find the cure for this. They've been around for 50 years and still haven't found a cure for this shit.
I'd like to see what America... I really... Now, if I'm wrong, I apologize in advance. But I'd really like for somebody to open up the books on the American Lung Association.
Or American Cancer Society.
Or American Cancer Society. Let us take a look. Let's see what you've really done.
Right.
Oh, really? 52% of your budget just goes to the main office?
Administrative, yeah, exactly. Same thing with JDRF. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dispelling any myths or anything here, and I'm not really, trying to knock these companies down. I'm not. I call them companies, but they're actually nonprofits. But I'm not trying to do that. But you're right. That's exactly what it is, man. Is like more than half, like JDRF, goes into administrative costs. And that's not paychecks for everybody. That's them sending me 19 envelopes of shit a year trying to get me to send more money in. I'm like, dude, if I send you $10 I just paid for my envelopes for the rest of this year. Seriously, that's what it comes down to.
Dude, I don't know if I've ever told you this. Me and my wife gave a gift to an anti-abortion agency.
Okay.
Or not an agency, a non-for-profit.
Yeah.
We gave them $100, which it's not a lot of money, but it's a chunk of our paycheck.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was a good chunk of our paycheck.
Yeah.
They turned around and spent that $100 on envelopes, ink, and paper
Sure.
and stamps
To send
to
you
ask
more
me
shit.
for more money.
Right. That sends you more shit.
And so what do? I certainly do agree with what this agency is doing,
Yeah.
but I think maybe instead of taking 2 or 3 girls per month, maybe you could do 10 if you quit asking everybody for money.
Right. Exactly.
Now, again, I understand they're in a hard spot. They need to ask for money.
Sure.
But again, you took my $100. So that point, and we still get these things in the mail from them.
Right.
From that point on, I've decided all my gifts will be anonymous, and I will do a better job looking into my charity.
Well, that has always been a touchy subject for me. It's not even the abortion part of it. It's just always a touchy subject because our party actually believes in no abortions. Okay. Now, I don't necessarily believe that. I believe in the right to choice, but I'm personally pro-life. I won't have an abortion. That's probably why I have 7 kids running around. Anyway, so that's my thinking, behind that. And it's not really the substantiation of my, this thing being abortions. It's that our party does not want women to have abortions. Okay, that's good. And they want to give them other options. Okay. But the majority of those options are just keep the child. Okay, I'll keep the child, and, that's cool. But I'm going to be broke the whole fucking time, and I'm never going to have money to be able to get up on my feet. Yeah.
It's 2017.
Yeah, that it is.
There are 100 different ways to keep from knocking up a girl.
Oh, yeah.
Why are we still having this conversation over abortion for birth control?
No. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about I understand the thinking behind the Republican side of it. Let's not allow women to have, abortions. Okay, great. Pro-life, everybody. That's wonderful. And I understand their thinking in being, it's a spark of life. They even said when a sperm enters the ovum now, they're saying that there's a small electrical spark that happens.
Yep.
And that's when it starts beginning. Everything
Yep.
starts beginning. So, okay, that's great. I understand that. But then when this woman does not want to give up her child for, in an abortion, does not want to give up her child for adoption, she wants to take care of her child, she goes and has to get onto welfare. Where do we draw a line? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, we can't do abortions, and this chick has the right to choose whatever she wants to do with her child, and she's going to be on poverty for the rest of her life. Now, she has to go through these entitlement programs, which technically aren't entitlements, but we consider them to be. So, where does this go? How do we fix this? How can we positively think if she can't have an abortion, she also can't be on welfare? What do we do? There's no positive answer to that, and that bothers me. That's
Rip her ovaries out.
But she still had a kid, you know what I mean? And she's still going to be, looking at food stamps and Medicaid. And
Again, dude, why are we having this conversation
in 2017?
In 2017,
Yeah.
where you can get shots nowadays that will allow a man to ejaculate a full load of sperm. Pardon me for talking like this.
And it doesn't matter. We talked about that shit last week.
Into a woman, and it won't even affect a thing.
Right.
So you can have sex, and you can now have sex in most cases.
Yeah.
In its purest, most
Basic.
enjoyable form.
Yeah.
Ejaculating inside of a woman.
Yeah.
And nothing will become of it other than the release of endorphins in your mind.
Yeah.
We can do that now.
Yeah.
Without rubbers.
Yeah. Make it so that he doesn't jack. Or so he doesn't spew.
What-
Shorty ain't spewing. No.
Why? I don't understand. Why are we still having the abortion argument?
Well, it's not really an argument to abortion. It's just what are the options here? Because
Just shoot them both.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of like abortion anyway?
It's
like a really late term abortion for her.
It's also kind of weird in the fact that, it's okay for the woman to choose to terminate the pregnancy, but whenever I kill her, I get charged for double homicide? Wait a minute. You just got done saying that is not a life in there. So how can you charge me for double homicide? Don't get me wrong. I'm glad they are charging him for double homicide and sending him up the river. But you know what? Let's
What are you doing, man? You're destroying everything.
let's be realistic and look at it from a realistic point of view. Either it's a life or it's not.
Right. That's the problem. There is no classification for life. It's the God question. It's the God principle, actually. Think about this for a moment. She doesn't really have a life inside of her unless we can prove that it is a sentient being.
In 8 weeks, it has a heartbeat, a measurable heartbeat.
But it's not sentient. If it can't take care of itself on its own and then be independent, then it's not really a sentient being. Now,
So that's 11 years old for her.
right, exactly. So now we break it down even further than that. Can it be a sentient being? No, it can't. So we can't even determine that as a child, even within the womb. When do we say that, oh, this is an actual living, breathing life form? And
When?
you and I both know that, well, at least we believe, that there's a point where very early on something connects and those cells start to divide, and as they divide, they turn into a human being. So when do you actually classify it as being a human being? That's the biggest problem. That's always been the problem. There's no, and it's like God. It's like
But
God.
it's not a problem for me. It's simple mathematics.
No, it's not. Because
Sperm plus egg equals.
not all the time. Usually not even all the time. Because if they're on birth control, they won't even touch it.
Well, they won't meet. They won't match.
Right.
But you don't have one, you don't have the other. So you can't have life. It's a simple equation. Sperm plus egg, when they meet, is life. It's so clear to me.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why it's not clear to everybody else.
Because there's
And
just
this
way
is-
too many modifiers to it.
Again, it's like where you said, where do we say life is started? As soon as it comes out the birth canal?
Or is it before that?
It's kind of like saying, everybody's responsible when they turn 18. No, sorry, I was not. I didn't become responsible for me until I was 25.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That same argument. And that's the thing. And that's what's compelling is that in that argument that you just used, that's not the same for everybody else. There are some people that 14 years old are completely adult and can do what they need to do to be alive.
Agree.
So there's difference there. You see, there's always a compounding difference of context. Whatever you take this person here in this specific context, is that a life? If this person over here is the same as that person over there, for the most part, is that a life? See what I'm saying? It's like you have to determine, first of all, at 12 weeks in the womb, is this a human being? Is this a person? But we can't prove that. There's no way to prove that, which is the God principle. God exists. Great. How do we know? We don't. We just take it on word that he does exist. It's our faith. Same thing with the baby. We don't know that that's actually a human being. All we know is that, hey, there might be some life to this thing. We take it on the God principle that, hey, we don't know it exists, and I love that argument that they always use with the left-wing people. It's like the brain theory. Everybody says God. Well, I can't see God. I can't feel God. I can't touch God. So he must not exist. Then I'll let if that's the way it is, then you can't see your brain, you can't feel your brain, you can't touch your brain. That means it must not exist. So there's always going to be that argument. Mine isn't really necessarily about the abortion section of that. It's the how do we take care of this situation if it's not going to be. And I see what you're saying. Birth control really should be number one. The problem with that is, and now that you mentioned it, the problem with that is the Republican stance on that. The Republicans believe, at least quite a bit of the majority of Republicans believe, it's either you just be Catholic style and no birth control, or that you do have birth control, but your birth control is considered abstinence. That's what you got to do. Which Catholics believe in too. But here's the thing. If I took, we talked to my boys last week about sex, and they got it. They understand it. Dude, they've been cracking fucking jokes all week. It's been horrible. It's been like a nightmare from hell. I'm just like, dude, I cannot believe you just fucking said that. So I was like, well, we did a good job because they got it and they understand it. But it's like that. It's very much like that. If we not sat down and had that conversation with them, let's just say they go to Catholic school. They go into Catholic school. The Catholics are going to teach roll her to the wrist, roll her to the ankle, roll her to the, whap, 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 whap. You don't ever have sex. That's what it is. Only for procreation, you don't have sex. But dude, those fucking feelings inside of you, they boil up and they get you like fucking, like stew, man. You're like, oh God, I gotta do something. I gotta fuck something.
If you don't have a proper outlet, you'll do something stupid, like run around naked through town.
Or jump on somebody and try and fuck them.
Right.
And that's the thing. We're teaching them abstinence, but we're not teaching the proper thing that they should be doing, which is birth control. They won't go in and say, you should use a prophylactic. You should use condoms. You should take some kind of pill to make your semen not work or your sperm not come out. Whatever. They don't do that, though. And that's the problem. That's another point of that whole situation that I'm kind of like twisted about. I'm going to teach my kids to do the right thing. Practice sex, but if you're going to do it, make sure you're doing it responsibly. Don't get yourself any STDs and protect yourself from, because it's going to happen, dude. I don't care who you are.
Be clinical.
Yeah. Be clinical, yeah.
But whenever we start arguing, okay, is the baby alive at 32 weeks, 6 months, after the birth canal, that's not clinical. That's just saying that, to me, as soon as we found out that there was a spark of light at the moment of conception,
right.
To me, that ended all arguments. Right there, cut and dried. It's a life.
Yeah.
It's probably human.
Yeah.
Although as drunk as I was last time.
But then there's those things, and then here's where the weakness comes into this. If the child has 4 arms and 4 legs, 1 head, 1 torso, okay, and for a fact that child's going to be suffering its whole life, and it may be a short life, maybe 3 years, maybe 5 years. Doctors have given people like that much longer to live. And they said, he'll live to be 18, 20 years old, but he's going to be living with 4 legs and 4 arms. It's supposed to be like a Siamese twin without another head. So what do you do at that point? See, now you're opening up the door here because you're saying, oh man, the spark of life, but the spark of life has created a twisted, demented human being that is never going to have a full, decent life that we know of anyway.
Kill him!
Right.
No. I'm just kidding.
Oh, no, I know. But that's what I'm saying. It opens up a doorway at that point. And then you also have to things like rape. Oh, she was raped by an enormous dude and got her pregnant. And, it doesn't matter if he's black, white, doesn't matter. It's rape, period. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't want to have that sort of demented child come out of her body. Because there's a good possibility that kid may be psychologically damaged like the parent, like the father was. And I say father, that's not even the case. Sometimes women rape men. It is true. But in this case, she got pregnant by a rape. You ought to open up a door for that now, too. And then incest. That's the big one. If you got to, your daddy got on top and humped the shit out of you, and now you're pregnant with triplets. Seriously, dude, that can happen. I'm pretty sure it has happened in the past. And if that's the case, it's just like, what do you do?
You're the mother to your sisters.
That's right. Exactly.
Well, hey, man. Hey, why don't we wrap it up for tonight?
Wrap it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we just got some terrible, terrible news. The listeners aren't very happy, and they're boring tonight.
Oh, shit.
They're bored out of their skulls.
I'm sorry.
So, besides, I got to piss.
Okay.
And let's just wrap it up.
All right. I'm going to play some outro. You want to do an outro?
Nope. I don't even have one written.
Don't even do an outro.
No. Just go ahead and play your music.
Shit. Okay.
And I'm going to say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Well, we've come to another point at the end of this whole thing, and yeah, we had some fun, and everything was good, and all was kind of creamy. So, yeah, man, make sure you check us out, jeffanddan.com. And, you can always try and catch us on Spreaker. But jeffanddan.com is actually really good too, because we have the Spreaker player on there. You can actually listen to what we said. And we're sorry tonight was a little bit slow and a little bit daft, but hey man, it won't always be like that. And hopefully we'll be able to get our guests on again here real soon. So what we got to do now is say hasta la vista, folks. Goodbye.